Alright, I want to do a video on my greenhouse. It's been a lot of hard work. It's aquaponic too, and hydroponic, but I'll kind of go into it in a second. Ignore that planter in front, we're going to move that. That was actually moved out of here, but this is the Harbor Freight Special. I got it for pretty cheap. It was like $7.50, something like that, but if you wait, it goes on sale, and they always have the 20% off coupon, so I used it, got it down to about $5.50, something like that. We had a concrete pad here already, so we used that. That was a little modification because this gray part is meant to be buried in gravel, which I kind of question that because it's already starting to rust. I'm thinking about coating it in the Flex Seal, see what happens, see if it'll stick. It's not bad rust. I mean, there's just a tiny spot here and there, but it kind of worries me because this thing is only about a year or two old. The panels I did have to make some modifications on. They have been known to blow out, so what I did is use some screws on, let me get a better view of this, on all those cross members. And I used the special tape. It's hard to see because it's kind of getting dark. Right here is a tape. This top piece right here, and this, you see it kind of coming up. I got it from Menards. It's a greenhouse panel tape, and what it does is completely seals the top, and then down bottom there's two kinds of tapes. It looks the same, but the bottom has perforated holes under it, which you really can't see because it's up under, like up under the panel right here, and it allows air to go down so you don't get as much yellowing and junk inside there and stuff like that. It makes a big difference so far. Like I said, this thing is probably 2 seasons old. You can see it's still fairly good shape. So show you, that's the modifications I've done. This is the screw that I'm talking about that I used personally. It's nice coated. I'm trying to, it's coated, but it also has a seal. And the reason I wanted that is because you're sealing the whole thing. So that's all you need to do is get a seal. Use the tape to seal it up bottom, tape seal it down top, and then not seal that. That would kind of be pointless. So these screws are nice because it's already got a washer built in. You just take your drill, puncture through, and as soon as you do, it goes right into that aluminum real easily. And I just have it moderately tightened down, just enough to keep those from blowing out. I did still use the clips, and everything seems to hold together very well. And like today, it got hot, and I was working in there, so I was doing a bunch of stuff. So I just popped those 2 screws out and those clips and opened 2 panels. That made a big difference, but again, I might try to Flex Seal all that stuff down there just because. So far so good. From the inside, like I said, the only thing I want to do eventually is bring up the net panel, do a vent up there. Those vents let some heat out, but it still gets pretty warm in here. So I'll start at the front and we'll go around. This is kind of my design right here. That's aquaponic. I just switched over today to the aquaponic system, so we'll see. I've been hydro on it up until now. We switched some stuff around. That tub in back was over there. It shot out the side, stuff like that. So we moved some stuff around. But what I did is took a fence post, try to get a side view here, and just put my net cups into them. Drilled with a 3-inch net cup, and it runs through this hose here and then runs out the drippers and goes down into the pipe, comes down into this. And what I did is right here in the, from about here to here, I cut a slit in the bottom side of the fence post, and it just drains into a piece of vinyl gutter, and it just shoots out right there. So this is one I'm going to do tomorrow. I'm going to put my net cups in there. That's what it starts off as. And like I said, right about in there, I cut the slit all the way from here. I've got a slit cut in there. I've got some pictures I'll try to include with this. Put the end caps, as the water rolls down, it rolls into that slit and goes right down into the guttering. There's my fish. We just fed them a bunch of food, so you see food fitting around. I did this tower one of the towers here that's just been fairly started recently. It is a green pipe. I don't like the way the green pipe looks, so I painted it. So it's got blue with the tan cap. Another tower that I've made is that one. I'm going to paint that one probably tan with a red cap maybe. And then I'll do one more of those on the other side. So I'll have 3 in here total. You know, 1, 2, 3. I'll put that one up here. So we'll kind of make a little bit of art with it, I guess. And I'm going to do another post like that, red with a tan cap and tan with a red cap, just because it looks pretty. What I did here on these things, I've left this one out. That, I had this, what I did here, took a fence cap and put it upside down, as you can see, and it pumped it to the top, and there was a bunch of holes, so it kind of rained down. The only problem was I was having a lot of distribution issues, and it wasn't raining down evenly, so it was missing a lot of cups. Here's what, I'll show you the cap I had on it, just for aesthetics. Kind of hard to do one-handed. Hang on, sorry. Had that cap on it, so it looked real nice. That thing actually sinks down further, but I can't do that one-handed. So, a nice little cap off, but it wasn't raining very evenly. I was indoors with it, so what I did is I made this half-inch pipe. Those down there are just stabilizers. That's the only point of those things, are just simply to keep it from bouncing around in the fence post. And then I have sprayers. I think I did a foot. I probably wouldn't mind going over 6 inches, but the foot seems to work on that tower at least. But just drill holes. The people at the store told me that you could just take those sprayers with a hole and just thread them in automatically. They were wrong. You do have to thread that. So I took a tap and die set and threaded it. And then I just have a barb down bottom, that half-inch that would go to my pump. So then take it up here. This piece screws off. Hang on, sorry. I have to edit this out. Hang on just a second, I gotta set it down. There we go. This piece screws off, and that will go through this hole here, and then that cap will screw back on and seal it and hold that on there. So that's the point of that cap. So far that thing sprays really nicely. Initially I had a 500 gallon per hour pump and it did not spray good. It wouldn't even get the top ones to spray. So I went to Harbor Freight. It's hard to see, but I have a 2,500 gallon per hour pump now, and so you can't see it because it's black. It's in there. I'll try to get a different view here. But I was worried about the fish solids and that thing being on the bottom sucking it all in. So what I did is I took and made like a snorkel and had a threaded piece, and it just threads on, and then I just took some fish filter and cut it and just shoved it in there. And so far so good. It's worked really well. Nothing's got into it. They say aeroponics is the hardest. I guess I like to take the hard road, because that in there is this exact same setup of this. That's the exact same setup in there, and it's, you know, it's aeroponic. So we'll find out if it works. So far I've not had any problems. This thing algaed up like crazy before I switched over, and it was pretty algified, and I had no problems with the sprayers. The sprayers seemed to work just fine. So like I said, what I did was see if I can get a zoom in. Yeah, there's too much glare. I'll try to go around the other side. Here, we'll walk around the other side here. Yeah, it's just too dark for that. Oh, you can see the pump. So I've got that pump. Comes off into a manifold. I left this part right here so I could cut that off and add more on if I wanted to. And then I got control with those valves, so I can shut off and turn it down or whatever I want to do. But that's a 2,500 gallon per hour pump. But like I said, you can see the threaded piece right there is threaded, and then it goes into just a snorkel basically. So it keeps that off the bottom, should keep the solids out of there. Then here's another view of that gutter. It's just two pieces, kind of turning it in there, and then that goes into that. So the other thing I built was this. I'll have to step out, but basically I want to run all tomatoes in here. I might be a little too dense, we'll find out, but I needed some support for the tomatoes, so let me step out here. What I did is built this thing, and it goes way up in there, but it's basically a stand. And initially that tub was on the side over here, so I needed it to go out. So what I did was, if you look, that 2x4 is at an angle going this way, and the tube itself is at an angle going down this way. So down there is lower than up here is. So it's kind of at an angle like this going down. So all the water flows right out into that gutter back there. Like I said, eventually I'm gonna do 3. I might be able to squeeze 4. The third one will go right here. I might be able to squeeze a 4th one on there because I can still get another fence post, and I use 2x3s. Another 2x3, and I can maybe squeeze. I may have to add a little addition. But I might put a 4th one on there. I'm not sure. It's gonna be pretty dense, so we'll see. But what I need to do is string these tomatoes up, and you can kind of see them all strung up there, right up to the top. And then I left a little room. It was 2x4x8s is what I had, so I just left them on the top and left them kind of hang over in case I want to put anything else up there or hang something like that. But you can kind of see the connections there. It's a little flimsy, but for hanging tomatoes, I mean, it doesn't need to be much, and I could always put, you know, 2x4 going across right here to hold it. But yeah, so that's the setup. Pretty proud of it. Kind of learning as I go. Oh, and then just because you're wondering, this is what I started off with. I did not pay full price because they were ridiculously priced. They're like $650 or something like that. And I think I bought that for $150, $200. Took it apart, figured out how it worked, and that's where I came up with that. So the intention is that, but it's going pretty good. That one's going real good. We just put some diatomaceous earth on it from some pest problems we have. I got Swiss chard, broccoli, and Brussels sprouts. We got rid of the pests, and it's going like crazy. So that's where it all started. That is straight hydroponic. That's all aquaponic now, and eventually I may get rid of this and put like a media bed all over there, and I may put some gutters up here for more strawberries, and that's what's in that tower right there is strawberries. I may put more strawberries, but anyway, that's what I'm pretty proud of. It's got strings, like I said, holding the tomatoes up, and see where it goes. So that's it. Just wanted to show off.